And welcome back, and today we are joined with my good friend Martin Smart, his first time tonight.
Hello.
And our two usual guys, Jim King and Dave, I forgot your second name.
Alan.
Alan. I just slipped off the ray, sorry guys. So we've got 3 questions today, and if we have time, if you guys have time, we may have 2 bonus questions, okay? So the first one to go is Jim. And the question is, Jim, what are the essential things to have in your gig bag? And do you prefer a hard case or a soft case, and why?
Okay, well, I'll start from the end, the backwards. I used to always be a hard case man, but then a friend of mine from Ireland showed me what the airlines had done to his guitar case just coming over from Ireland, and I wasn't so impressed with how good these hard cases can be. So half my instruments have hard cases, half have soft cases, and thankfully so far nothing has been damaged. So my thing is, I mean, I think you get a false sense of security maybe with a hard case. Even these new sort of fiberglassy, plasticky sort of ones, to my mind, nothing's indestructible. And if something's going to fall on your guitar, at least it's got something to cover it. So I think you just have to be careful and what you like yourself. I do like the soft cases in the sense that you can usually stick a couple of guitar leads in there, or folders and odds and ends. But as I say, I'm sort of between the two. So that's that one.
Sure.
Okay. Now, what I like about bass is the simplicity. I never carry spare strings because I don't expect to anticipate snapping any.
And they're expensive.
Oh yeah. If it's well set up and it's working, you know, you're bound to notice if there's any deviations. Even if you're playing regularly one particular instrument, you're bound to notice deviations and changes very quickly. So my attitude's been the worst thing that can happen is it'll need to be tuned, you know, and so far it serves me well. So I just basically travel light. If it's a bass assignment, bass guitar in a case or a soft case, a soft cover, a tuner just to make sure that it's tuned properly. And I can always argue it's tuned properly if you want to tune yours to mine, you know, that we're on the same page. Leads, plectrums, 20p pieces, just in case the song I feel needs a 20p piece or a plectrum. And that's basically me. I know some guys have like a full case of stuff to service and maintain, but I'm just a lazy bugger.
Nice one. Thanks, Jim. Thank you. Martin, same question to you, my good man.
Okay. I do have a hard case, but it's in the loft. Never use it. I've got a great soft case that I use. For me, it's just a lot better in terms, for a lot of reasons. It's lighter for first of all. You know, hard cases can be, once you get a bass in there and you're lunking around, it's easier to smash it into things, I think, rather than a soft case. So actually, I feel my bass is actually safer in a soft case. It's lighter, as saying. You can put it on your back. It's got straps. I mean, my one does, so I can put it on my back and walk around, so I'm hands-free for carrying other things if I need to carry an amp or a bag or anything else. And plus, actually, my soft case has got quite a bit of storage space in it, you know. So it's everything that I need to take, which I'll come on to a wee second, you know, I can fit easily in my soft case. Whereas my hard case, it's good and it's got a wee bit of storage, but all the stuff that I want to take, I wouldn't be able to fit in it, and I'd probably need to take another bag, you know. So soft case, I've been using that for years, and it's done me well. And that's pretty good. I mean, it's well padded. You know, I feel my bass is safe. Never think it's going to get damaged. You know, so no compromise there. So yeah, always a soft case. I did start off when I started playing bass. I did have a wee soft case, and it wasn't the best. It was, it was paper thin, and it wasn't great. So from then I went on to a hard case. Made that investment to get that, but it's just easier. It's just easier with a soft case a lot more times. So soft case it's been for me the past few years. So in terms of gig, essential equipment to take, obviously cable, strap and plectrum and tuner. They're my sort of main things I would have. Cloth as well. I'd probably have a cloth just always wiped down after a session. I've been around long enough to know that it's always good to have spares. So I'll always have a spare strap. I'll always have a spare cable, and I'll always have some more plectrums, and that's not just for me. There's nothing worse than going to a session and the guitarist goes, "Oh, plectrums," So if you're there and you can go, "Well, actually, here you go," it's all good. Other things I think it's good to have is just phone or iPads. Actually, nowadays, I mean, you wouldn't leave home without it anyway. But if you think about all the things that you can have on your phone that you might actually need in a gig or a rehearsal situation, you think audio files. If you ever need to reference a tune that you're playing, that could be someone else's tune or your own tune if you've got a recording of it. Ren music, chord sheets, tab, you can get all that on your phone. Also metronome as well, actually. If you're playing a song and you're having a battle with the drummer.
Fast. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so metronome's always a good one to have. Yeah, so, and actually I was thinking headphones as well, actually, just your normal standard headphones. If you ever turn up to a gig and you might be expecting to play through a monitor, but might be some venue that's trying out some fancy in-ear monitors, they might have a little monitor station that you can set up and plug yourself into. So headphones are always good for that. And actually, if you're ever doing rehearsals, I've got these, not that I've used them in a while actually, but these little earplugs that are great as well. Quite cheap, quite effective, block out a lot of the sounds, like volume, but keep the clarity. So if you're worried about your hearing getting damaged, it's worthwhile investing in a little pair of them as well. So finally, I would say food and drink. Just for yourself, I always find in a practice room or a gig, you're going to get hot. So make sure you've got a bottle of water. And if you're going to rehearsal, even a gig as well, make sure you've got something else to nibble on, not just for you, but for your bandmates as well. Packet of biscuits, bar of chocolate, bag of crisps, exactly. Better to be prepared, one for yourself. But, for your bandmates as well, a happy band, that's been fed, it's gonna be happier, gonna play better, whether it's a gig or rehearsal. So that's what I would always recommend. So it says quite a lot of stuff, but I can fit it all in my soft case, so I'm no worried. And actually, pedals wise, I wouldn't really take anything. I was thinking maybe whenever I play nowadays, it's just going direct. And I don't really, with my bass that I've got, I just go straight into the mixing desk. I can shape my tone quite well on my bass, but some people prefer to have like their own DI, where they can shape the EQ on that. That would be something to have. And pedals as well. I've got a fuzz pedal that I usually always take everywhere I go. Never really use it, but it's always there in case I need it. So yeah, be prepared. That'd be my motto.
Right, man. Thanks, man. Thank you very much. Dave, same question to you, my good man. Dave, there's no sound coming, mate.
There's no sound, I know.
Sound now.
Pretty similar to what Martin said. In terms of hard case or a gig bag, I have both, and it depends. If I am going to a place where I'm going to just be playing, if I go with the Gold Rollers, the Originals band, quite often it's just a support slot. So you're looking at 45 minutes an hour. I'm not going to take all my stuff with me just for that. And most times that's going to be a big venue where you can go straight to the desk. So I'll just get my gig bag. So you take that on the bus. You know, it's dead easy to. It's very easy. In the gig bag, it would just be slotted in a wireless system, a spare wireless system, power supply, a couple of pedals. You know, a compressor pedal mainly, so I normally use any effects I need for the songs. And you know, that's pretty much it. So I go pretty light for that because it's just the bass. I can carry it in the bus. I need to take my amp. I've got that in my other hand as well. So for small gigs, I prefer the gig bag. As long as it's a quality one, as Martin alluded to. Just if it's just a bass cover, it's pretty much no use at all. But if I'm going to the other band with the Nobody's Business, you know, we're going out. We're going to play 3-4 hours. We're the entertainment for the night. I will take my hard case, simply because there's stuff getting moved in and out. I'm also taking the car generally because I've got the PA, so with a load of stuff going in and out, it just gives it an extra bit of protection. You know, if you stand on a bass in a gig bag, you know, it's not good news if you stand on the neck. But as a hard case, you know, you can walk all over it, etc. If it's a good quality fitted one. Yeah. So that's what I've used. And you can stand it up. It just basically takes the punishment when it's in a pub and it's getting moved from pillar to post that you're setting up. But so the gig bag's really useful if you don't have to take an awful lot of kit, or you just play in a small, you know, a small venue, etc. So just a couple of pedals, power supply, wireless system, and a cable in case the wireless system doesn't work. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty easy. I am the person I think that Jim referred to earlier who takes everything you need to rebuild the bass on site. Because if I've travelled 30 miles, 40 miles, whatever it is to get to the gig, and I'm there for 4 hours, and I don't want to take a second bass because that's a nuisance, then I will take. I'll actually show you what I've got here. This is a case, as you can see. The handle the handle at the back has got wheels on it, so I can carry it about like a suitcase. And that's got everything from. I'll show you what I've got. At the top, spare cables, not just for me, for the rest of the band, because it's always the bass players that are prepared with these things. In the top here, I've got essential item, the torch, because on a dark stage, you're trying to look at your knobs, etc. Not that it's really difficult. I've got just disposable earplugs. I've got a pencil, spare batteries, 2 of, bit of fast fret, spare connectors, just for connecting leads together in case things aren't long enough, which often happens. If you're playing well, I've got a recorder to record the gig. I've got a capo because guitar players always forget to bring a capo. I've got hand sanitizer. I've got a thing for the microphones, the microphone stand adjusters, so the mic things don't fit. And that's just in the top tray. Oh, and a little thing for tightening your jack if it gets loose. And spare plectrums and all sorts of things. And that's just in the tray. Stupid little things that you might just need. And the next one down, I've got patch cables and also this. Painkillers. Always.
Bring them on, guys.
Yeah. These are for stopping diarrhea. Well, it's happened before.
That's been prepared. Wow.
Spare strings, spare power supply, whole set of tools. I've got a soldering iron, a gas powered soldering iron in case something breaks. I've got energy bar.
Nice, aye.
I also use this because I hate cables on the stage. And that's a power pack. So that'll give me 5 hours of power to my pedals. So I don't have to plug things in, so I'm pretty self-contained. I've got a stand, folding stand, because I like to have a stand on the stage. I use these wireless systems, the X5s. And I've got one of those, and I've got a spare pair as well, which I use. And then I've also got my large pedal board, which I need if I need it, and the small pedal board. And lots of cloths, because you need them if you're sweaty. A bottle of juice. So I think I'm on the same page as Martin here. You come prepared. Although I didn't bring enough for the rest of the band. I'm very selfish that way.
Wow.
They could suffer. No, pretty much. I just like to think if I'm going a long distance, I'm playing for a long time, you know, things can happen. I just want to be covered for all eventualities. And generally, when I've used the spare power supplies I've got, it's not been me that's used them, it's the guitar players. You know, they never think, so and they rely on pedals so much that if their power supply goes faulty, you're stuffed. So that's pretty much what I take. Soldering iron's a good one. I've actually used that a couple of times.
Wow. Thanks, Steve, man. That's.
Can I just ask Dave? Dave, I was somewhere, and it's always the bass player that seems to be the guy that's got the toolkit, not just yourself. So it's not you I'm thinking about. Were you somewhere where I was, and the drummer had problems with tuning the drum kit? There was like an in-house drum kit, and some problem tuning it. And was it you that was there and pulled out a set of drum tuners?
That's I've got drum keys in the top as well. Yeah.
Well, if it wasn't you, it was somebody like you then, because
I remember that gig, and it was me. Yeah, I had the drum tuners.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
People laugh at me until things break, and then they don't laugh at me anymore.
It's true, Dave, it's true, buddy. That's true. Right. Next question, and this time Martin goes first. Okay. Martin, have you ever sold gear that you look back and you regret selling?
No. In a word, no. I've been quite fortunate over the years. I've not gone crazy and bought loads of stuff. And anything that I have bought and sold, I've not regretted. You know, I've never went out and bought, you know, 3 or 4 different basses and then thought this is a bit crazy, and then, you know, sold 1 or 2 and then regretted it. You know, so I've only ever had 2 basses in my life. You know, first one that I started playing on, and the one that I've got now. And I'm a bit sentimental in that I would never really get rid of that first bass I had anyway. But no, I've been lucky that anything that I have got rid of, you know, pedals or whatever, or amps, you know, I've always used the money from that to fund something, you know, that's going to be better for me. So, yeah, I've never really had any regrets. So I'm in a good boat for that.
Good, fantastic. Dave, the same question to you, buddy.
Yes, I regret selling everything I've ever sold because I just love stuff so much. It's nice to have it. It's great. They're just works of art, as far as I'm concerned. But no, I'm the same as Martin here. If I sell something, it's to get something upgraded or something better, or because I don't use it or it doesn't work. I just sold 3 basses last week. The simple reason that I was looking at them. I thought, you don't get played. There's no point in having these things just getting dust. And I'm going to use that to put towards something. I'll actually use it towards that one, which is new. But no, I think the only one I really regret selling is, I've got a couple of pictures here I'm just going to share with you. These are things I regret selling. That's a JD Supernatural that I bought back in 1983. And that was not my first, that was my second bass. And it's absolute gem. And I sold it for, well, I sold it for personal reasons, shall we say. But I recently met the chap who actually bought it from me. And he'd recently sold it on, so I couldn't buy it back. But he sold it on for, I think it was £12,000.
Wow.
So I do regret it. As a handmade, John Diggins handmade bass, it was absolutely beautiful. But a piece of furniture. So I do regret selling that one. And I'll just stop this share. Another thing which I regret, which I'll share with you. That was me with my JD when I was trying to make it as a rock star. And that's a Carlsberg bass rig, 850 watts.
Oh, those were good in the day.
Yeah, Carlsbergs, and you can't get them now. And I'll hunt, if I could get my hands on that again. They were tough as old boots, sounded absolutely amazing, and were very loud. So these are the stuff that I bought in the 80s, basically, when I was taking this really professionally. I really wanted to be, you know, that was going to be my livelihood. And I sold, and that was a mistake. I should not have sold that. So
Could I ask Dave, sorry, so that bass amp today, what sort of budget would that be today, 2020?
Oh, probably looking at about £3,000, I would think.
Good gear, huh?
But I was everything I earned at that point. We're making good money, a reasonable money, and it went back into having the kit because you just had to have the decent kit to do that if you're going on tours and things. So yes, it would be nice to have mothballed it, but it wasn't practical. I needed the money. I was young. I was getting married, and I decided rock stardom just eluded me. So I needed the money elsewhere. But hindsight's a wonderful thing, if I could start it as an investment. But I look back on that kit with with more passion than I look to the stuff that I've got now. The stuff I've got now is really just utilitarian, whereas that just had a sentimental value to me. So I regret selling all that.
Well, man, well, I'm sorry to hear, man. But you sold it for a good reason, no? You needed the money, you were getting married,
Well, yeah. Well,
at
I
least
couldn't
it
afford
was
the engagement ring without it. So.
Sure. So it went to a good cause.
It did. It made me eternally happy since then. I've
Brilliant.
been ecstatic.
Good, man. So,
Somebody
Jim,
has to win the lottery. See, this is the thing. This is why it's great, because Dave's had this lottery win experience with his good lady. Whereas I'm one of these guys that's like, well, women come and go, but guitars don't. And that applies to basses, trombones, French cornets, violins, even a mouth organ. That'll see you through the good times and the bad times. So anyway, fun enough that the only time I've sold gear, I had an excellent set of effects pedals. And I know it was guitar related. And all these things were on the market, these multi-effects units, people were raving about them and so on and so forth. So I managed to get a good trading value. Now I was married at the time. And the only way I could do this was because I got a good trading value against a Dodd something or another. Now I got the thing home. Mrs. X is doing whatever, so rather than disrupt her, I'm sitting on guitar and headphones, I'm getting these beautiful sounds. Then I get the opportunity to put it through an amp in the house, and it's like, what the heck is that? That is what I didn't, So I'm away trying to get them all sorted. And then the first rehearsal I took it to, what an embarrassment. I thought I had it all fixed up. Playing the band, it just totally sounded different again, where it was, headphones and playing it in a small amp in the house and then a big amp in a rehearsal room. It just kept sounding different. And the problem was getting into it to change the parameters, and it was a nightmare. So I kept up with it for about 6 months, and I thought, nah, forget it. I'm going back to individual units, preferably Boss, things with knobs on it. So if you look, you can say, oh, I can just twist that back, and a lot easier to manipulate. So one of my sons actually was that unit, so I never actually got rid of the thing. I did try to part exchange it, but believe it or not, in 6 months to 10 months, it was obsolete. It was a way to dodge something or another. There's no value in the thing. So as I say, one of my sons has that and puts good use to it. But as I say, and the thing is, it was engineered so you could use it for bass or guitar. And I thought, I'll try a bass through it, because I was never one for bass effects. So I tried using the bass through it and absolutely hated it. That's the only time I sold gear, was these effects pedals, and I live to regret it. But hey ho, I replaced those pedals, and now whatever I want, I can go and get, because I've not got somebody going, you can't have that, or we need new curtains. I'm a happy man.
right, guys, this is the $64 million question, okay? Right? What is talent, and can it be learned? And it's to go first.
Who?
Dave.
Oh, me. Oh, well, I get a good one, don't I?
David, sorry. What is talent, buddy, and can it be learned?
I personally, the talent is the inherent ability to do something easily without too much effort. And you see that. Anybody can learn to be good. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Anyone can learn to be good. But there are some people for whom it just naturally happens. You see not just in baseball, you see that in football as well. You know, there's people who will go through academies, they've got you got a gift. But there's some people that just don't have to work hard to actually do it. And that can actually be a bit of it can be a blessing, it can be a curse. Because if you can pick up, if you've got a good ear and you've got good long fingers and you've got the articulation, you can play well, you don't have to work particularly hard. You know, you just think, oh, it's, you know, I don't need to do that. Whereas if you've got the talent but not the physical ability, you've got to work harder. You've got to really apply yourself to get good at something. So I do think that some people are born with a natural talent and ability to do something, and some people are born with a talent and not the ability. There's some people souls born with neither, who can still become very, very good, you know, because they put the work in. But I think really it's about, yes, talent with bass playing is really the ability to understand what the instrument does in the song and what its role is in the band, rather than being to shred, you know, to play Teen Town just by listening to it by ear or something like that. So yes, I do think there is such a thing as talent. There are people out there who, you know, can play better than me because they just have that natural talent of being able to do it. You know, whereas everything I've decided I want to do it, and I've worked hard to acquire the skill. So there's no doubt you get two guys that put 100 hours worth of work into practicing something, and one's got talent and one's not. It will tell and it will show, because one will make it look easy and one won't. So I do think that talent exists.
Thanks, Dave. Cheers, buddy. Thank you. Jim, you're next up, buddy. And it's a competition.
I'll be very mystical and philosophical here. I'll say that I would take Bunyan's position in that we're all born equal, but we fight within to be either good or bad, and it's our personal choices. So I would say, for what Dave's saying, there are these gifted people. I've heard that people could pick up a guitar at 3 years old or a bass at 3 and just play the thing, and it's like, how the hell did they do that? And I mind once going into rehearsal, it was a new band, I didn't know these guys, and this guitarist that I'd never met before says, well, I've been listening to these songs, I've not had time. And I thought, what the hell are we doing here? I want to kill the guy. But the guy had a good ear, and if you gave him a chord chart, he's looking at us to say, what the hell was this? But he could just listen to you play the song and just put in something good. And I've met a lot of people like that over the years, just amazing people who just seem to have that natural ear. And they don't even, you say, can you just play a D chord so I can see if my D chord's sounding the same or whatever the note is. And it's like they don't even know what to do to form that chord. They just naturally do it. And it's like, how the hell do you do this? Now, either your kid put a lot of work in and become that good, and you're kidding on, you've got natural ability. Maybe that's the case, I don't know. But as I say, it's just some people just seem to have that something and they can just do it. And it's just so easy to them. You know, they don't have to sort of work hard at it. But then again, the beautiful thing is with humanity, we're all different and we're at different places. And I still think somebody who's never touched an instrument before can just pick one up, dabble with it. And I think quite a few philosophers have said this: if you love, you will learn. So if you want to learn and you want to learn it bad enough, you know, it might take you 4 years just to learn your first chord. It might take you 4 minutes, but you'll stick with it. You know, if you hear something and you've got something, you know, you're going to work at it. So to me, it's a mixture of some of us have a great thing which we just don't realise we've got a gift in essence. Others have to work damned hard, and then others can do it on moderate work. But I think it's a case, if you've got to work at it, you've got to decide you're going to work at it. Too many folk just try and give up. You know, I've seen that so often. Folk, oh, I can't play this song, that song's too hard. If you apply yourself to it, it'll come with time. You know, it's as simple as that. So, as I say, I feel we as musicians should be encouraging other folk to play, because it's such a great creative thing. I believe we've all got an ability to create. And if that's not happening, whether it's through writing or painting or drawing or doing music or what have you, I think, you know, we're missing something in life. And I feel we should be encouraging people to play, so we shouldn't make it too hard for them. And what I always notice, and this seems to be a recurring theme with me, you always get the diva brigade that think they're hyper talented, and yet you hear their mistakes and cringe for them. They can't see the mistakes. So, as I say, we're all different, thankfully. It's part of the rich tapestry of life. But the only thing I would say is, don't put yourself down. Don't judge yourself against others. Just damn well do it and make the best of what you've got and enjoy it. Because I always remember saying in a situation, you know, I've not got the speed to play like a shredder, but I didn't see the sense or the need to play in a shred style. It just wasn't me. But some guys I've watched them shred, even on a bass, and it's like, well, how do you do that? You know. But again, we're all different. We all got different things. And I mean, you know, my thing would basically be, don't you look at people and say, oh, that's a great talent, I can't do it. Just get in and damn well do it and work away at it. And the lesson for life usually is, you know, unless you put a bit of effort and then pay the cost, do you really value it? You know, I mean, if you've put a bit of work in to learn a song and you've learned it to the best of your ability, and people can say, oh, that sounds like such and such, you know, I think you've earned your stripes. You paid your dues putting in the work and the effort to do that. But then again, you get some deluded folk will just they'll wail like a cat or bang an untuned guitar and think they're great, and they didn't know everybody's laughed at them. Anyway, that's my wee tuppence worth for what it's worth.
That's good stuff there, buddy. Thanks, man. Martin, the same question to you, mate.
I think my answer is probably a mix of Jim and Dave's. I don't think there's such a thing as natural talent as such. So I don't think, you know, someone's going to be able to pick up a guitar and just instantly be able to play it if they've never played it before. But I do think some people can pick things up quicker than others, you know. So if you take two people and if they both start playing guitar at the same time, you know, they're going to be bottom of the rung. They're going to be both struggling at first, you know. But I believe that, you know, those two people, if they could spend the same amount of time practicing, they're different people, you know, and some will, you know, one might pick up, you know, the instrument and run with it easier than the other, you know. So, you know, one after 10 hours of practicing, one could be streets ahead of the other. And I don't know what you call that. I don't know what it is. If that is sort of what David was maybe calling talent, is this, I don't know, this ability to just naturally pick things up and run with it easier than others. But certainly I think the people that I've played with in the past that are very talented, I think that's what they've got. I don't think it's like some natural talent that's just been instilled in them. I think they have practiced, they've worked at it, but they've maybe picked things up and ran with it quicker than maybe others have. And I guess it's what Jim was saying as well, you know, if you love it, you will learn. And, you know, if it is something that you do love, you will invest the time in playing and you will, you know, flourish quicker, you know. So even if it might take you 100 hours instead of 10 hours, if you put in that time, then you can get to that stage. It's just going to take longer.
Thanks, man. Cheers, man. That's good stuff, guys. Thank you. That's 3 questions. If you guys have time for some bonus questions.
Yeah, sure.
Sure,
Yeah.
right. Thank you. Thanks very much. First one to go is Jim. And the same question I'll put to the 3 of you, right? Jim, does call and response exist for bass?
I think it's back to what I've said before. It's who you are and what the song demands. Now, I mean, if you're in your early stages of a bass playing career, or the style, the genres you're playing are just calling for sitting on a note, 4 to the bar, 8 to the bar, 16 to the bar, what have you, you know, if that's your calling and vocation, good on you, enjoy it, and hopefully people enjoy your playing. Some folk, and I know you and Dave like your jazz, whereas I tend to go for more classical stuff, but the comparisons I've been noticing between jazz and classical, I mean, we're all coming from the same foundation, basically. It's just, you know, the way we're sort of coming at it. And what I do notice quite a lot is, you know, in some pieces, as I say, that's a good foundational thump, we'll say. But then you can go to the other extreme where you could almost have a bass player that's playing melody. You know, to me, it's back to the piece and who you are. And if you're starting out, I would say just do what you can, learn what you can, keep trying to stretch yourself, try and learn to do leading notes or put your own leading notes and study pieces of bass music that have leading notes in it and see what the guy's doing with those. Try and extend yourself and stretch yourself. If you're a rock player, listen to a bit of country and stretch yourself, listen to a bit of classical, listen to a bit of reggae, listen to these other disciplines and genres and try and keep stretching yourself and see what you can learn. Now that's why I love music, is you never stop learning. There's always something new you can learn. So the call and response, I mean, if somebody's not sure what it is that's listening in, the call and response is a sort of concept where, you know, something is said and then there's a reply. Now, the classical thing would be the singer going something like, oh, I woke up this morning and my cat was dead, you know, and then, you know, it'll respond with, yeah, but I won 10,000 in the lottery, or the guitarist comes in with a line, or the bass player comes in with a line. And I mentioned before a guy, Ian Lamar, who I think is a fantastic bassist, probably on a par with Dave. I'll not make one of them better than that. I think they're both great bass players. Top of the league in Scotland anyway. And Ian Lamar is a full band and just lay back and do the rhythm thing and just sort of go with the flow. But then I've seen situations where he will do fills, and it's in the sense that he's doing the, you know, 4 beats to the bar. So on this bar, the singer's singing his line, then he comes in with this fill and fills the sound out with this fill. So that is a form of call and response. So I'd say there is room for it, but I'd say it's down to your own ability, how far you've developed and evolved as a bass player, and also does the piece call for it. If it's just a straight song like Smash the Government punk style, you just want to go wah, make a lot of noise. But if you want to have something a bit more melodic and a bit more atmospheric and romantic, you know, the sort of thing Dave will play to his wife on Valentine's night, yeah, go for it and have your call and response, put in your harmonies. As I say, it just depends what the song plays for, and that's my wee tuppence or threepence worth.
Thanks, Jim. Cheers, buddy. Thanks for that. Martin, same question to you.
Call and response, does it exist for bass? Yes, I guess so. I mean, it's a musical phrase, isn't it? You know, bass is a musical instrument. So I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
You know, in the way that you could have it with any other instrument, you know, and you can definitely have it with bass as well, you know, where that might be an interaction, as Jim was saying, you know, with vocals or with drums even, or with guitars or keyboards. I don't really use it in any of the styles of music that I play. I can't really think of many examples, but it's definitely possible. And if you know, in blues stuff, you get that probably more than any other style. And yeah, it's good to have a good knowledge of it and how to use it. So yeah, it's there. It can be used. I don't use it myself, but it definitely can be done on bass. Anything that can be done on bass.
Thank you, Martin. Cheers for that. David, sorry. Over to you.
David, I don't mind. Call and response. Yes, it exists. It exists. It's a musical style. It's a part of the musical conversation, and that's really what it is. It is a conversation between two instruments. So any two can have it, as long as the space is there. That's what its purpose is serving. It's not something you'd be listening for as a bass player in a song and say, "Oh, I'm going to mimic that and put that back in them." But you know, it's quite good fun when it happens. You see it happen in a lot of live shows, especially a lot of, sort of modern jazz stuff. You know, there will be, and it's almost like it's kind of tribal. It's like issuing a challenge, isn't it? You know, guitar player, another instrument will play you half a phrase and say, right, finish that. It's like a musical game of squiggles. You know, here's something, finish it off, and it's great fun to do. But it's not something that audiences, unless they're, particularly jazz audiences, will do, unless the song is Whole Lotta Rosie, in which case it works perfectly.
Thanks, man. Good stuff, guys. Thanks, man. Guys, last question for tonight. Okay. Bass strings are expensive, you know. So how do you care for them? Martin is first to go.
Bass strings, I always give mine a wipe down after I've been playing, you know, so I always have a cloth in my gig bag, you know, so anytime I'm out a gig or rehearsal, I'll always give it a wipe down. I'm quite bad for you know, sweating a lot when I'm playing, especially in a hot venue or a hot rehearsal room, you know, so all that gunk's going to come off your hands. So yeah, make sure wipe the bass down. All over actually, but yeah, strings particularly, definitely. And that's about it really. You know, I only just recently actually during lockdown I boiled some bass strings. That's because I was given my old bass that I was talking about earlier. I was going to give that to a friend, so I thought I'd boil them up some old bass strings that I had kicking around, so we had a semi decent pair on it. And that seemed to work quite well actually. But generally, I find bass strings are pretty durable. You know, if you take care of them, wipe them down after each time you play, they're not going to break, they're not going to snap. You know, unless you're really going at it on your bass. You know, so it's just the case of looking after them. And if you care for them and wipe them down, they'll last a long time. You know, so that's been my experience. You know, it's very seldom that I end up buying new strings. So. And also strings as well. I mean, everyone's got a preference on strings, but I've for the past few years I've used elixir strings, which are coated strings, you know, which last longer. Some people love them, some people don't like them, but they've been great for me, and especially with my old sweaty fingers. But yeah, they tend to last a lot longer, and on guitar as well, I find they definitely last longer than regular strings. So I'm a big advocate for them.
Nice one, thank you, Martin. Dave, you're next to go, buddy. Same question to you.
Can't really add to that. The most important thing absolutely is after you've played your bass, even if it's at home just for half an hour, wipe it down. Just wipe it down. Take anything that's corrosive from your sweat, etc., your gunk, and just wipe it off just with a dry, good cotton cloth or something. Absolutely, because bass strings, you know, they do break, but this is where, to protect your bass strings, you know, one of the most common problems of that is if you hammer your bass quite a lot, or you don't maintain it, and you get ridges on perhaps the nut, because if you basically got a metal nut on it, but especially at the bridge, if you've got sharp bits there, etc., they're not seated properly, or there's something wrong with the maintenance there, they will snap, you know, because bassers won't snap normally. Even slap players don't really snap strings. So overall bass maintenance is really important in maintaining that. But that's really the only thing. You find your own strings and work out how. I don't like elixir strings because I don't like the friction on my fingers. I find it very difficult to play. And the same reason I don't use flat wounds, because the grooves on a round wound string, you know, I find my fingers go across it with no friction. But flat wounds or tape wounds, I don't like them. You find your own thing, but I use stainless steel strings, you know, which I find last well, and I replace them pretty much every 3 months when they start to lose their zing. In terms of boiling strings, is a big thing about people boiling strings, and I've tried it because I thought somebody's told me it worked, and it did work for a short time. But when you boil them, the strings stretch, you know, and the grooves in between release all the dirt. It's not the string that goes dead; it's the dirt that's in it. And there's a great video from an old bass player. I can't remember who it was, but one of the great old bass players with a better idea. You get a bucket of warm water and some soap powder, and you put your strings in there. You leave them overnight, you know, and then you come back in the morning, you take them out, rinse them with cold water, and that's been the same thing. It's just removed all the grime without actually changing the you know, the tension of the string by heating up. But they do. But the problem with doing that with redoing any old bass strings is where round about the frets they will be worn. You'll have flat spots on the strings, so there'll never be new strings. So it's great if I'm moving a set of strings from one bass to a lesser played bass, then yeah, it's worth it. But you better just invest in the strings that you like, and and keep them nice and dry, and keep them nice, etc. And just make sure you wipe them down. That's pretty much the best advice. And on the once a year when you do take all your strings off, clean your fretboard so you're not picking up gunk off your fretboard on your strings. So it's important to keep your fretboard nice and clean as well.
And you use lemon oil for that?
Yes, the best thing to clean it off with is naphtha, just lighter fluid. Lighter fluid on a bit of cotton cloth. And scrub that. That'll take all the gunk out of it. And then you just put some lemon oil or some, you know, Timson do a fretboard oil, which is lovely. But yeah, just do that to seal the moisture back in, and make sure that it stays nice and doesn't dry out.
Thanks, man. Well, good stuff, guys. Jim, same question to you, mate.
I'll let the side down. I never clean my strings after playing. Never done it. And I've never changed strings on a bass before. It's whatever it comes with, that's the strings that's on it. I mean, once in a while I'll sort of clean the neck and take any build-up of gunge off and give the strings a wee clean on situ, but I've never changed strings, and I've never bothered to wipe it down after playing. I mean, if I'm playing an unfamiliar song with others, I'll put a fair bit of twang on my bass so I can hear myself, so it'll cut through a wee bit. But again, you can manufacture that with amplification or an EQ pedal, an equalizer pedal. But after I'm more familiar, I'll turn the bass down to more a normal, if there's such a thing as a normal bass tone. But it's just something I've never done. So I can't recommend strings, and I cannot recommend any cleaning agents either, apart from one of these sort of anti-static cloth soap every couple of months. So there you go.
Guys, thanks for tonight, guys. Thank you very much. Great answers there. Sorry?
It's been a pleasure.
Guys, thanks, man.
Good stuff.
Well, who wants to sing or play something to fade us out with? Jim, you've got a Kelly there, don't you?
No, it's him.
Go on, then, come on.
You've got an acoustic, you got Martin, acoustic hiding beside you. You play you.
Give me 1 second.
I've done my turn the last time.
Steve's
This came in the post yesterday. I've always fancied being a George Foreman, got a banjolele. so I only.